Hello. I want to talk about this myth the Republican Party has been telling for the past 12 years that lower taxes creates a great economy. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie that has ever been told in this country. They got Americans believing that lower taxes create a great economy. It's not true. The United States credit rating was downgraded to AA for the first time in this country's history. Not because of the higher costs that the United States has been spending on domestic programs, but by the lower taxes that has been led for the past 12 years under the Bush tax cuts. Let me go and do 90 years. Let me trace 90 years back. I'm going to go back in time, starting in 1920. Starting really in 1917 when President Wilson was in office. The tax rates went from 7% to 63% under Wilson. When Wilson left office, Harding took over, and from Harding to Coolidge to President Hoover, the tax rate went down to as low as 25% from 1925 to 1931. And we know what that created. That created the biggest depression in this country's history, called the Great Depression, because the tax rates just went downward from 63% in 1921 to 25% from 25 to 1931. That created the Great Depression because of those low tax rates. Roosevelt got into office in 1933, and he increased the tax rate to 63%, and it went as high as 90% during his time. But from 1933 all the way to 1980, the average tax rate was 70%. 70% from 1933 to 1980. The biggest highlight of the tax rate during that era came in the 1950s when the average tax rate was 91, 92%, but the economy was doing great. Rich people was paying their dues. I know the tax rates was a little high, but it just come to prove that higher tax rates create a great economy. Back in 1987, Reagan was in office. He was about to end his presidency. He was able to lower the tax rates from 70% when he came into office down to 30%, 28%. 28%. From 1987 to 1991, the average tax rate was 29%, and that created a recession because the tax rate was really lowered from 70% all the way down to 29%. It created a big recession. Clinton got in office in 1993 and raised it back almost to 40%, which created a great economy. 23 million jobs was created. 23 million jobs. Now, I just went back and I just showed you about the higher tax rates, how they create millions of jobs. Now, Bush came into office in 2001 and lowered it back to 35%, and this is where we have been at for the past 10, 11 years, and it only created a recession, a great recession, and it could create a double recession because of these low tax rates. So these Republicans has been telling people that low tax rates create a great economy. I just went back 90 years, and there's no proof whatsoever. What they should have said was higher tax rates create a great economy, because there's a lot of proof showing that. What the Republicans are saying about low tax rates create great economies, create jobs, are just a big lie. A big lie. If this country continue having the tax rates that they have at 35%, this country is not only going to be in a Great Depression, this country could go into being a third world country because we are dishing out more than we're taking in. Like I said, From 1925 to 1931, the tax rate was 25%. It created one of the greatest depressions in this world's history. The stock market crashed in 1929 because of it, which created the Great Depression. Between 1987 and 1991, the tax rate was 29%. Almost created a depression, but it created a big recession because of those tax rates. And now, the tax rates are 35%. Some may be as low as 31% under the Bush tax cuts, and it's doing the same thing again. So there's no evidence whatsoever that low tax rates create jobs. It's a myth, and it's one of the biggest lies that is being told in the political world. And the news media is not calling out the Republicans on this. Only thing they have to do is Google it up and check the history. And then they would know that the tax rates, when they're high, create jobs, create great economies, but when they're low, create depressions, big depressions. So, Mr. Obama, when you go to that bargain table with those Republicans, and they're going to be talking about you have to lower tax rates even more, just go back and show them the history of this country of the past 91 years. Show them where's the proof that lower tax rates create a great economy. I want to see it. They won't be able to show you, because lower tax rates never created a great economy. It's a lie, and it's time that someone called them out on it. It's time that the media stop playing games and start calling these people out from this big lie that they're telling, because they're gonna make this country become a third world country if these tax rates don't go back to where they're supposed to be. Thank you.